Now I am going to integrate the Mollie with my Laravel application, and in order to do that, first I am going to create to install a fresh Laravel in my PC. So in order to do that, I am going to open here you see this is desktop, and in this place I will create a new Laravel application. So I am going to my terminal first, and I am going to desktop from here, and then here I am going to write the code to install Laravel. So composer, I am going to use the composer to install Laravel. So composer, create project, then Laravel, and then I am going to give it a name that is Mollie. So then it is going to be installed on my computer. Okay, in my desktop it is going to be installed. A fresh Laravel will be installed here, and when the installation will be done, then I will have to go into the folder, and then I will have to run the Laravel here. So in the desktop it is installed. If I go to desktop, you see this is the Mollie, and all the files come here. And now I am going to enter into the Mollie folder. So here, and in this place I am going to run the Laravel application PHP artisan serve, and this one is running. This is a server. I'm going to copy and paste the code here. So you see the Laravel homepage or interface comes here, that is installed in my PC, and this is Laravel 10. So let's do the next thing, that is I am going to open this Mollie folder in my VS Code editor. So I am going to open my VS Code editor and then open this into here. So in my VS Code editor Mollie comes, and here in the env file I am going here, and you see there is a place where I will have to give the database name, that is in my case Mollie, for example. I yet did not create it, but I will create it later. So root is my username is root and password is root. So this setup is completed, and here you see this is the Mollie. If you want, you can create manually this database in PHP myadmin, or when you will go to create a new table, then it will ask me if this system will create a database by this name or not. So in that place, in that time I will create it. Okay, so now it is okay, no problem. So what other things I will have to do? In the resource views there is a welcome page. You see that this page information is actually this code. So I am going to remove everything, and then if I run it, you will see there is nothing here. So I am going to put here, for example, here I am going to give Laravel Mollie integration, for example, Mollie integration, and here my h2 is the product is, for example, laptop I am going to sell, and the price is, for example, $20. And now here I am going to open a form. So like this is a form and CSRF, and then there is a button submit, and here pay with Mollie. So this will be okay. So form action will be here. I will go to create a route, but before going there, let's check how the page looks like. If I refresh it, you will see that this is the page. I am going to pay for the laptop, which price is $20, and pay with Mollie. So this is perfect. Now I am going to put a route here that I will create. That route name will be Mollie, for example. And now I am going to open the routes and then web.php. All the routes are defined in this file. So in the bottom I am going to create a new post route, and here I will give the name that is Mollie, and here I will write a controller, for example, Mollie controller, then class, and then it will be Mollie the function, and then it will be name route, that is, for example, Mollie. But the Mollie controller does not exist. In the top I will have to also add that controller, but this controller actually does not exist in my application. So in the terminal I am going to write the command to create this controller. So PHP artisan make controller here, to make controller. So here I am going to give Mollie controller. So the controller will be created into app HTTP controllers. Here you see this is the Mollie controller, and this is empty now. So this is the first step. I am going to create a controller, and another thing is important, that is I am going to create a table in this system that's name will be payments table, because when the Mollie payment will be successful, I will save the data into the payments table. Okay, so for that reason I will have to create a migration file. So php artisan, then make migration, and then I will have to create a migration file that's name will be create, for example the table name will be payments, so create payments and then table. So a migration file will be created into the database migrations, and in the bottom you will see this is the migration file, and here in the schema I am going to write the codes, that is to create the fields. For example, the payments table will have some fields, that is ID and timestamps are default. I am going to create some extra fields. One is, for example, the payment ID, then another one will be here, that is currency, then there will be also amount like this, then there will be also quantity like this. You will be able also to store the product name. If you want, you can insert the buyer name or who is going to be paid, but here I am just going to insert the important information, that is payment status, and then another one will be payment method. These are actually the important information, but if you want, you can insert a lot of other information, because from the transaction ID I will be able to get a lot of information. So if you want, you can put those, or if you want, you can just put this information that is important here. So now I am going to run the command in the terminal, that is I am going to create the table now. So php artisan, then make migrate. So this is the command in order to create the table by the name payments. So I am going to enter. You will see that the database Mollie does not exist. So if I want to create it, so I am going to select the yes, then enter. So two things are happened now. One thing is it has created a database, and another one is it has created a table that's name is payments into that database. Okay, so I am going to check it. So here I am going to use the localhost, my port is this one, and then php my admin. So now you will see a database has been created by the name of Mollie, and into there is a payments table. This one also comes here. Okay, so here is no information now, but when the payment will be successful, the information will be inserted there. So I am now going to run another command, that is model. So php artisan make model. I will use the eloquent system in order to insert the data into the payments table. So I am going to create a model by the singular name of the table name, that is payment. So my model name will be payment. So php artisan make model payment, and then insert, and a model has been created. If you want to see it, you will go to app, then app, then models, then here you will see the payment.php. This is the model name. Okay, so initial tasks are done. Now what I will have to do, now I will create here public function and then a Mollie function. Okay, so this will be a function that is name is Mollie, and here a request will come, so that is request of request. Okay, so here in the top, for using the eloquent, I can use the app, then app models payments. So model I call in the top. Here I will write the codes. But before integrating the Mollie, how I will actually integrate that in with my application. So in order to do that, go to Google and search by Laravel Mollie. So Laravel Mollie, if you search by this, you will see a package here. So I am going to open it, and you see github.com, then Mollie and Laravel Mollie. So this is a Laravel package I will install to integrate the Mollie with my application. So in order to install it, if you go to the bottom, you will see that there is a code they give me, that is composer code. So I am going to copy this, and in my applications VS Code editor, here I am going to paste it and then enter, and you will see that this thing this is going to be installed here. Yes, the installation is done. The Mollie installation is very easy. You have to just use the composer to install it, and then in the configuration in the env file you will have to write this code. Now I am going to copy this one from here, and now I am going to the .env file, and in my .env file I am going to the bottom and I am going to paste it here. This will be actually my test key. So where I will get it, where that was my API keys. You see, this is the test API key. So from here I am going to copy it, and now here I am going to paste my key. So this is the primary step. I will have to do that, and example uses also given here. This is in the top. I will have to call this. So I'm going to copy it, and in the top of my controller, that is Mollie controller, here I am going to call this one, that is the Mollie class, and the Mollie class I just call it. And then after that, in the function where I am going to do the payment, so here is something like that. Okay, so here is something like this. I am going to copy the full code from there, and in my Mollie I am going to paste it. I am going to use the request because my data is coming from this form. So here I am going to put a hidden field. For example, the product name is one hidden field, and I am going to give here laptop, and there are some other fields, for example quantity, and here I am going to give one is the quantity, and here I can give the price, and the price is $20. Okay, so 20 is okay. Now what I am going to do, so here now when I will click on pay with Mollie, it will be taken to the Mollie. That means Mollie route, that means in the controller, in this method it will come, and this is a post route. You see in my web.php, you see this is a post route. I will have to create more other routes. For example, I am going to create a success, this one, this route I am going to give like this, and here only success, and another one is, for example, the cancel route. So here I am going to give the cancel route. So here it will be Mollie controller cancel. Okay, fine. So here in the controller, you see there is a currency given, euro. If you want, you can give here USD, no problem, and there is a value. But here one important thing to mention, that is you must send the correct number of decimals. Thus we enforce the use of a string. Yeah, you must have to make sure that there is .00. If you give it, there will be an error. So there will be a value that is .00. Okay, so in the welcome controller, what I can do, I am going to give the value as 20.00. then this information price I will receive here, that is request of price. This is the real data that will come from the interface. Okay, so this is the currency is okay. Description is, for example, the product name I can use as description here. So here request of product name I can give here. The route will be success route. Here webhook URL I am not going to use this now, because I will not use the webhook system. I will just put the information from here to another place, that is success, in another way. I will show you that, no problem. But here this will be the basic payment setup. Okay, so order ID, you can give a random order ID, that means time function. Then each order ID will be unique, so I am going to use the time function. Okay, the current timestamp value will be set up as the order ID. This is actually the metadata. If you want, you can add a lot of other metadata here, so no issue. So here you see this is the payment. So here I am going to check what is actually coming to the payment. So I will have to check it if it really works or not. So in order to do that, I am going to interface now and pay with Mollie. If I click here, you will see that it is taking me no suitable payment methods found, handling errors. Here why? I am going to check my API key again. Developer, here is test API key reset. I am going to reset it, then copy this one, and in env file I am going to paste it again. Mollie key, that's okay. Mollie controller, payment should be here, and also here I am going to use public function success, this one, and another one is public function cancel. Here this will be like this. your organization is also okay. Here organization settings, awaiting to be verified, payment methods. Here is the cards. I am going to use the cards. So here another important thing is, when you will go to pay, you will have to enable the cards. So I will have to activate it. Okay, the cards is now activated. Okay, now it should work. If you do not enable the card, there is a problem. So I am going to click here. Yes, it is coming. So remember that when you will test the Mollie payment system using the test API, then you will have to enable any payments method that is given here, otherwise it will not work. You see, now it is working perfectly. So here status is open and amount and all other things are given, but status will be paid. Actually my target is to make the status open. Status open means actually the payment is not verified. Okay, so here you see there is ID. This ID is important. I will have to receive that ID into the success. So this is the main thing. I will have to receive the ID from this place to here. So here I will have to receive the ID. So how I can receive the ID? Here another thing I am going to show you, that is when you are going to implement the Mollie, here you will see there is another function here, right? So here I am going to copy this one. They used here handle webhook notification, but I am not going to use the webhook notification. I am going to make it more easy. So here you see everything is okay here like this. So here I see the payment. If you want, you can get any other information, because here you see there are a lot of other information I have in my hand. So I am going to use the ID. So if I get the ID perfectly here, what will be happen? I will just redirect the user to the payment checkout URL. That means it will actually come to the success here, because the redirect URL is route success. So calling this URL means it will actually send the information to send me to this route, that is success. So it will come to this success. Here you see there is a request. So here in the success I can use the request here, request. So request, if you want to take the request here, and here DD payment ID, I am going to show you so that you can understand the payment ID. If I want to receive the payment ID, getting the request of ID like this, if I make it off, let's check if anything is coming here or not. So I am going to resend it again. You will see there is a test profile coming. So here from the test is coming because it is going to redirect to the checkout URL. So get checkout URL means actually it is sending me to the Mollie checkout page. You see, this is the Mollie website's checkout page. So from there, when it will be succeeded, then it will send me to the redirect URL. That means it will come then into the success method. But first it is going to the checkout URL. Checkout URL means I come here now. Okay, so here you can use the test card like this. That was 4242 like this. This is actually a valid test Visa card that I used in the Stripe payment gateway. The same thing, no problem. Cardholder name, anything you can give here. Here I am going to give the expiry date, for example this, and CVV. Now click on the pay button. It is now taking me to the success. You see that it is taking me to the redirect URL success, but it is null. I should get the payment ID in this way, but it is actually coming as null. So from this page, before the redirection, I can use a session variable to put the payment information in my hand. So here I can use the payment ID, and the payment ID will be the payment of ID that you already saw in this position. Okay, so this is the payment ID. I am going to reset. I am going to set this session variable, and here the information will be this one. So in this position, instead of showing the request of input this ID, what I can do, I can here use that is session variable data, that is get of payment ID. This ID, this is a session variable ID, and that is I am going to put into a main variable, that is payment ID. Now if I refresh, it will not work. I will have to come again into that step. I am going to do that again. The card ID is, for example, this one, and this one 0324 CBB 123 pay. Now it will take success. You see that the transaction ID or payment ID is now a valid payment ID. Okay, because from here I am going to capture it into a session variable and I am going to pass it here. So the real payment ID is in my hand now. So after getting the payment ID, what I will do, I will use this one. This is payment equal to Mollie API payments. Get of payment ID means this ID, and if the payment is paid, but before going there, I am going to show you what is actually into my payment variable. Okay, in this position. So let's do it. Refresh. You see that here the payment is now done and the status is now paid. Okay, so that transaction is okay, and when the status is paid, I can get other information from here. For example, amount of value, amount of currency, etc. data I am going to get from here. So as the payment is successful, that means status equal to paid. So status paid, you can tell here if payment status paid this way, or if you want, you can use is paid function. They give it to me so that I can check if it is paid. So there is a built-in function, I am going to use it. So here if this is successful, then here I will have to put something like that, payment is successful. This is the message here in this case. Okay, so this is the message, and if it is not paid, so if there is any error, I can easily redirect. So here redirect the user to the cancel route, okay. So here in the cancel route, I am going to put something that payment is cancelled. So this thing should work now, and when the payment is successful, here I will unset the payment ID and I will create something like that, payment equal to new payment, because in the top I called the model, that is payment model. So using the eloquent system, I am going to insert the data into my database. So in my database, first one is payment ID, and I already have payment ID in my hand. So this is the payment ID. I am going to make it off now. So this is the payment ID. What other information I will have to give here? That is, now the second one is I am going to check what is in the second one. Second one is product name, quantity, amount. Okay, so here you will see that how I can get the product name. I pass the product name into the description field. So payment of description. So here payment of product name, this is the field ID, and my data will be that is, both variables are coming in the same variable. So here I am going to use a separate variable object. So object of product name equal to, this is the payment. So here I am going to call the payment of description. So like this. So this is the product name. So what will be another one? That another one is after that it is product name, then quantity and amount. So quantity I can easily give here quantity. So quantity I am going to make it hardcode, but if you want, you can, when I put the value of the session, that means I created a payment ID session variable. In the same case, you can create another session variable to take the quantity, and that quantity you can just use here. But for now, this is one I am going to put it, no problem. And then there is a amount. So what will be the amount? The amount will be, you see, payment of amount of value and payment of amount of currency, these two. So payment amount of value, this is the amount, and another one is currency. Currency is payment of amount of currency. Okay, so this is the currency, payment of amount of currency. And after that there is payment status and payment method. So status you can put anything, and method you can also put anything. So here payment status equal to, I am going to put here completed, and another one is payment method. There will be a payment method. This is Mollie. So this one. So the data will be saved in my database when the payment is successful. And another one will be happen, that is I will use the session of forget of payment ID. this payment ID I will forget. I am going to show you the quantity also, not like this, so that you can understand. Here when I put the session of payment ID, similar way I can put the session of into a quantity, and the quantity will be the request of quantity that comes using the hidden field. So this quantity you can use here now, that is session of get, and this will be quantity. Okay, so like this, and then when I will unset, then the quantity I will also unset. So now you will understand what is going to be happened. I am going to again run it from the very beginning. You see there is no information still here, and if I go here to the payments, you will see that 2 items are paid successfully, 20 euro. So okay, here I am going to pay using the euro, right? Because the euro I used. If you want, you can use the USD. So here if I want to use the USD, let's check it, and instead of 20 I am going to give another one, that is 10, and here I will pass 10. Okay, so let's try it now. What happens if I go to click on pay with Mollie? It comes, I am going to give the test card number here, and card holder is this 03, and here 28 CVV, any number. Going to click on pay. You see payment is successful. Now if I go to the table, you see payment ID is saved into the database. Product name, quantity, amount, currency, status, method, everything is working perfectly. If I go here and now refresh it, go to see the payments, you see that 10 USD is now paid, not euro. So 10 US dollar, and the status is paid. So it is working perfectly.